Morning and welcome to Garden 365 43.
Just wanted to show you these. The ducks have started laying. In fact, they've been laying now for a few weeks. So those were today's, and these are ones from a little bit earlier. And this is one of our goose eggs. Just to show you the size of a goose egg. So, lovely fresh eggs. These are some of my chilies, and if you notice, every day they turn slightly towards the sun, which is what they're trying to do, is get as much light as possible. So what I do is just turn them around so they're facing the other way, and what they'll do today is just straighten up and turn back towards the sun. So it's a constant thing every day, having to turn them round. And what that does is develop strong growth, strong stems, and good healthy plants. And all turned round now. And this year's daffies, not all of them, obviously still loads more outside, but these are the ones that the wind's taken over. Claire's brought in the house, and they look beautiful. I love daffodils. This year's. Eee! And unfortunately, we're coming towards the end of the amaryllis, but this has been absolutely beautiful, and I recommend everybody to get an amaryllis. They are just superb. Tomatoes looking absolutely great, which has created a bit of a problem really, because they're far too early to put out into the greenhouse yet. And they're getting to the size where they should go out, so I'm going to have to repot them in bigger pots, maybe not this week but soon, okay, and bring them back in the house. Okay, so I've got to sort of work out what I'm going to do with these, but don't they look great for early tomatoes? They need to turn around too. And the Tomatillo, I personally have never grown these before, but Claire has, and this is from some seeds that Yvonne gave us. Now whenever I'm planting seeds, especially early seeds, I always put a couple in, because if one doesn't grow very good, then you've hopefully got another good one that does grow. And back to the tomatoes. These were my really early ones that I want to put in to get some early crop. My main crop of tomatoes I'll be putting in the next week or two now. And those are the ones that obviously will get the bulk of the tomatoes on. These are just some early ones that hopefully we can put out in the greenhouse when it's warm enough, and harvest those early tomatoes. Wouldn't that be great? Now I'm going to start today in the greenhouse. I'm just using this as my base. As we know, it's been really windy over the last few days, and I've used the greenhouse very much as my base to get in. It's a little bit better today. It's Sunday and I'm going to get out a little bit, but I just want to explain something to you about wind and greenhouses, because I've seen some horrendous pictures on Facebook of people's greenhouses and what's happened to them in this past week, and I wanted to show you ours. I'm not saying it's perfect, but reality, it's something you've got to do, okay, is secure your greenhouse to the ground, or otherwise the wind will take it away. Now before we had our greenhouse put in, a young man called Ryan, he came round and put some concrete for the base. So I think this is about 6-9 inches deep, this concrete. It doesn't look particularly nice in any way, but it's something solid. And then what's happened then, the guy that put the greenhouse in has anchored it with anchor bolts into the ground. Now during all of that wind, okay, recently, okay, you couldn't hear anything apart from the glass flexing a little bit. The actual structure, the aluminium, was absolutely secure in all that wind. Now if you can get your greenhouse secured to the ground with anchor bolts, that is perfect. I've seen people who have put them in with tent pegs and are surprised that the wind, their greenhouse is blown away. Don't be foolish like that. Get it anchored to the ground. I'm going to put a very small row of outdoor potatoes out today. And what I do, and I've shown this on one of my previous early Gardening 365 videos, is the potatoes I cut in half, okay, so that it's got a chit on either side, and what that does is double the quantity, okay. It won't spoil the potatoes anyway, and you get twice the crop, which is great. But I'll show you something I do before I plant them. Now I cut these about 2 days ago, and I let them scab over. Okay, and what that does is help prevent them rotting when they go into the ground, because now it's a hard skin as opposed to a soft skin. So I always leave them a couple of days and it seems to work for me. Okay, so that's a way of doubling your potato yield this year. Isn't that great? Now the width of it is about 5 foot, and I'm going to space my potatoes out. I'm not going to measure them, about 6 to 9 inches. So I'm not sure how many I'll get in a row there. You'll have to work the maths out. But it really is as quick as this to plant a row of potatoes if you've got everything prepared properly. So I'm going to put the camera on.
Put the potato with the chit facing upwards. Done.
Now that took 2 minutes to plant one row of potatoes. How easy was that? What's been happening with the plants in the greenhouse? Broad beans are through and looking great. French beans take longer to germinate, they haven't popped through yet. The kale is looking good. I think maybe another week or two and I can start potting that up. I've now got some calabrese and some other cabbage in there. Got some red cabbage and the Savoy cabbage, and I'm not sure if that's the cabbage germinating or what that is, but they're taking a long time coming through. My peas haven't come through the surface yet. The lettuce is looking good and my onion seeds are looking great. That's where I am at the moment with them. The indoor carrots are now coming through quite well, so really pleased with them. So there is some early carrots. You can actually start putting carrots outside now if you want to, just them to get some really early ones. Now then, the real big one is my indoor potatoes. Now because it's colder outside and it's cold in the greenhouse at the minute, they take longer to germinate, but if you look at this very closely, you can see a potato shoot coming out. And what I'm going to do with that now is just cover that little tiny bit up so that there's no potato sprout coming out at all. And the reason why, it encourages growth and it'll protect it from frost, although I don't think there'll be any frost in the greenhouse. And just cover them up now so that there is no sprout or chit, whichever you want to call it, protruding through the surface. Now I'd guess this time next week I'll be showing you them again, and then you keep adding a little bit of soil, a little bit of soil, a little bit of soil until you reach the top, and then at that stage you really have got to look after them from the frost. Now then, here's my challenge. I don't know how big that is, but it's yay big. I think all of you will have had one of those at home, okay, and you will all have potatoes in your house at the moment. So here's a little challenge. What I want you to do is to get a potato. You can cut it in half like I've showed you if you want to make two, if you're doing it on economy, and plant a potato in a little tub in your garden. Keep it in the greenhouse if you can, keep it warm, and if you can't, keep it outside, but make sure it's protected, and I guarantee you will have potatoes in about 10 to 12 weeks from now. Wouldn't that be great? Your own grown potatoes, especially if you guys have never done it before. What a challenge. My challenge. I want everybody to have a go. Been joined outside now by Claire. Claire's going to sort of go through the strawberries. So we've got Cambridge strawberries here, and I think they're called Fenella or something like that over there. So we're going to separate them. Yvonne wanted some of these, so we've got some runners that we're going to take out. Yvonne, you'll get them, well, you'll have them by the time we do this video. And then the plants, some of the Cambridge are going to go in there, and some of the Fenellas are going to go in there, and that will become our new strawberry bed. So Claire's going to do that for me, so thanks Claire. Trying a couple of new ones this year. So I've got Pak Choi and Kohl Rabi. Not had experience of either, so we'll see how they go. And I'm just going to plant a few seeds, not too many, because I don't know how well they'll grow or what have you, so experiment. And they're quite small seeds, so I'm going to put 2 per section. Oh no, I've got no more seed labels. What am I going to do? What have I got? Well, I have got a single use pot noodle king pot, beef and tomato flavour, washed out, a pair of scissors and a marker pen. What can I do with them? Now first of all, I need to sort of break through that real hard edge. And when I've done that, what I do is just sort of cut around the top and remove the top. It doesn't have to be a king pot noodle, by the way, it could just be a standard one. Now, when I say this was single use, we'll now get 2 uses, because what I'll do at the end, when they're finished with these, just chuck them in the recycling bin, and they'll be okay for recycling, be it a bit smaller. Remove the top. Now all I'm going to do now is just slice down the inner bit. I'm going to keep them about, I don't know, half to a quarter an inch big. Not quarter, half to 3/4 I should have said. Just going all the way around. This might take a little bit longer, so I'll probably put the video on a little bit faster at this stage. Now what you'll end up with is something like that, and you can probably see what I'm going to do now. Just going to take the bottom off. It doesn't matter if you leave a little bit down there. Take them all off. And there you have it. Some seeds. So I've just made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 recycled plant labels. That is so difficult to do, holding the camera in the one hand and a pen in the other. Now wherever possible, use rainwater. So much better. Light soaking. Perfect. And talking of rainwater, watch what I'm going to be doing shortly. Last year we went down to one of our Garden 365 members, Billy Auger, and we bought this what's known as an IBC, and it's for storing liquids, and we're going to use it as a rain catcher and rain storage. So we took the original cap off, and last week I fitted a tap. It's on its side at the moment so you don't get the real true idea. So it's got a proper tap on now with an handle. If I'd left it as it was originally, it would have just come rushing out, but now we can control the water on the output. And I think this is 1200 litres, so it'll store a lot of water. And later this week I've got a black cover coming, and the reason why, with it being clear, the water will turn the water green and a lot of algae in it. With the cover on, it shouldn't do that anywhere near as quick. And also what I've got is another top coming with a hose pipe fitting, so we can just go hose pipe straight in, and in theory tap or hose pipe straight out, whichever we want. So watch this space. I've got some work to do this, and this is going to become my new mini project over the next couple of weeks. And Claire's planted the strawberries, which is great, which now gives me an opportunity. I'll tidy those up at some stage, fill it up with soil, and then we're going to use that as a cut plant area for this year. So I don't know, dahlias and gladiolas and that sort of type thing, they'll go in there. So it'll become a real show point to the garden, I hope. And also I'm going to get the mint and the chives and redistribute those around as well. But not today, that's a day for today. Now I'm going in a minute, and I just wanted to show you what we've done this weekend. And I say we because Claire's helped me with some of this. the ground there now is starting to level out again, so we've taken loads of soil from there. Well, I have on this case. Okay, and Claire's planted the strawberries for me in raised bed 6, which is now the strawberry bed, aka over here. Claire pulled all the strawberries out. I've dug that over now, and I don't like digging, but there was loads of strawberries in there, so I've dug that over, and I will fill that at some point. I didn't manage to get to the mint and the chives, as I said. Okay, so I'll try and do that next weekend, and do this. If anybody wants any mint or chives, let me know as soon as possible, because otherwise I'll just go on the compost heap. Planted 3 more kale in there, and one of my kale that I planted got eaten, so I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to try a little hack very shortly. Finished raised bed 3 last week, so not a lot of anything happening there. I've all but finished raised bed 2, but with the damp weather I run out of dry compost, so I couldn't do that with the wet compost, so there's a little bit at the end. That'll take an hour or so next week when it's drier, and I can finish that off. Also, I've done that much of a raised bed one. Now, if I get a little bit closer, I'll show you this, because this one's slightly different to all the other raised beds. Now, I have infilled this with soil. There's about 3-4 inches of soil, but this is completely unfertilised soil, because this will become my carrot bed, and carrots don't like freshly fertilised soil, hence why I haven't fertilised this at all. Raised bed 2, 3 and all the rest have all had fertilised soil in them. This hasn't. Now, I'm pretty sure it was a bird that had the kale, but just in case it was slugs, here's what I'm going to do. Got a little bit of wood ash, and I'm just going to put a circle round them with this. I'm not sure how much I've got, whether it'll be enough, and if not, then I'll have to go the awful way of slug pellets. Don't like use slug pellets unless I really have to. And there, I didn't really have enough, but I put some round them, and hopefully now they're a little bit more protected from bugs and slimy things from below. And here's one for you bug experts. Identify that. Not really sure what it is myself and whether it's harmful or not. It's about 1/2 inch long. Okay, if you do know what it is, please let me know, because I'm finding quite a few of them now as I'm going through my soil preparation. Here's the next one. What's this cheeky chappie's name? And is he harmful or good? I just don't know. And here's the next one. What's this called? And is it a goodie or a baddie in the garden? Nice. Whoa! Look what I can see! Now that is purple sprouting at its very, very best. And progress, I've just noticed my first couple of peas coming up, so pleased with that. Crocus Hill, still looking lovely. Lots of daffies waiting to come out. In fact, the first few are already coming out. Don't they look great? Snowdrops still looking really good, and the frog spawn still looking fine. Not a lot of it, as you can see. And the first of the wild garlic is popping through. The wildlife area. It's always great to see. This is what we built this for wildlife. There they are. So what am I trying to say? Even though this weekend has been really, really windy, it's been wet at times, it's been almost horrible. I've managed to get out, do quite a bit, not everything, because my compost was wet, but I've still managed to do some stuff out here. And out here, there is some absolutely beautiful things, okay? And you've just got to get out there and find that beauty. So into your gardens, out for a walk, whatever you're doing, can find some beauty. It's about spring, or this bit going into spring is a beautiful time of the year, if it wasn't so windy and cold and wet. Now, just before I go in, I would just like to explain a couple of things which will be hopefully probably easier for all of our members. Okay, we've got a Facebook page called Gardening 365. Okay, it'd be great if we could get even more people there. Okay, I think there's 930 as of this weekend. But also we've got a YouTube site called exactly the same name, Gardening 365. So what I'd like to do, any of our YouTube subscribers, if you head across to Facebook and put in Gardening 365, you can join the Facebook page,
and anybody from the Facebook page, those 930 people, it'd be great if you could head across to the YouTube channel, have a look at the videos there, and subscribe to that as well, so we make both groups bigger. Okay, wouldn't that be great? Okay, and that really pleased me if we could do that. Okay, so have a look at the other sites, Gardening 365, and join in wherever you can. That'd be great. Okay, thanks. And that concludes this week's of Gardening 365. Thanks ever so much for watching. Like I say, have a look at these little places down here. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.